Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Friday Sports Forecast on the 4 a.m. Crew podcast. It's Dom, and I'm joined by Cole. Make sure to give us a follow on all of our social medias. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at the 4 a.m. Crew pod. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also follow us on iTunes and Spotify. Those links will be in the description. So, there's obviously somebody missing today, Cole, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Colton's not here, as you guys could hear in the intro. Colton's sick. He has, what do you say? He has strep throat?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, supposedly he
He's
has strep throat, so
he's not available. He's not available.
he's not going to be joining us on the Friday podcast tonight. So, yeah, Colton's not here for the one that we've come back on after our 2 break hiatus.
Yeah, why were we gone for 2 weeks, Cole?
So, one week, yeah, we had finals, so we couldn't have been, so we really didn't have time to record. But this past week, I just got back into working, so I got put on the night shift. So I was working from 8 to 4, and when we're supposed to be recording. So this week I got switched to 4 to midnight, so now we can start recording again. So that's, I think, isn't that the main reason why?
Yeah, you were a pussy. That's why.
Hey, that's not really the reason. Fuck off.
It's pretty much the reason.
I,
But
we tried to
all I
record a
got,
couple of times, but
but somebody that may or may not have strep throat tonight, was sleeping multiple times, would not answer the Skype call.
so we could have had a podcast out probably earlier this week, maybe even last week. But
We had to wait,
yeah,
and
so
instead, we played Monopoly.
yeah, we've just been playing Monopoly, and Dom's been getting destroyed in Golf with Friends.
Oh, whoa, but
I
you're
mean,
not gonna talk about Dom whooping your ass in Monopoly the other day. Okay.
okay, I won the first game. Well, actually, no, not the first game. We got beat by a random dude, but
A random dude can suck my dick.
I mean, we're 1-1 in Monopoly, but I'm like 3-0 in Golf with Friends, so.
Yeah, well, I'll get better, and you'll start losing that too.
Okay. All right,
All right,
let's.
well, yeah, let's stop talking about some bullshit and let's get into the sports news that we haven't been getting into for the last 2 fucking weeks.
All right, starting off, we got college football. We got to talk about the Heisman. That's really the only news going around because
Yeah,
everybody's
it's
waiting
bowl
for their bowl
season.
games.
Everybody's prepping. So yeah, Heisman voting. I don't think there was much surprise. Burrow won. It was a pretty dominant effort in his part.
Yeah, if you live out in a cornfield and you didn't know, Joe Burrow won. By isn't it the biggest margin now?
I'm not sure, but it's pretty fucking wide.
Yeah,
If
I
you
think
ask
I
me.
heard that it was the biggest margin. What? It was like
And wait,
95% or something.
I have to say something. What's wrong with living in a cornfield? Because I'm pretty sure we live in a goddamn cornfield. Cole.
Well, I mean, there's people like Bales that live even
Yeah,
further in the cornfields.
you guys
So,
don't want to know who Bales is. He's a pretty lame guy.
yeah. I mean, hey, he's probably listening, so shout out to Bales, but you live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, so yeah, the Joe Burrow got 841 first place votes out of a little over 900, so it wasn't very close at all.
And I want to talk about how. So Joe won, yeah, everybody knew that was going to happen, but let's talk about who got second, third, and fourth. How did.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I get he had a great season, but if everybody hyped up Chase Young so much, why was he the last person?
He wasn't last, but he was fourth. I mean, like
Well,
from the people invited, yes, he
from the
wasn't
people
very
invited,
high.
he was
Yeah.
last.
Uh, because the Heisman in recent years has become very offensive dominated.
Well, I think this shows that it's an offensive award. Basically, you can't be a defensive player and get it. I don't think it's
Well, I
possible.
mean, Peyton Manning got fucked over in late '90s by Charles Woodson, but we won't talk about that.
Late '90s. That's been like 20 years since a defensive
Yeah,
player's
well,
gotten
I'm a
it.
Peyton Manning fan, so I will not let that go over very well. Because guess what? Peyton Manning is my man. He is my goat. Fuck Tom Brady. Anybody out there likes Tom Brady? He's a system quarterback and can suck my dick. All right.
Well, who's still in the league?
I don't give a shit who's still in the league.
Okay.
Who's making bomb ass commercials?
What, with Nationwide? Oh my. The corniest jokes in the world?
All right, well, back to this shit. Yeah, Jalen Hurts. I mean, he had a great season. I believe Chase Young should have been second, but defensively, people don't really care. And I'm guessing the 2 game penalty was a little harsh for him. It shouldn't have been that harsh. All that was hyped up was Joe Burrow versus Chase Young in these final few weeks, and him not even being the top 3 is pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I wonder like if he didn't get his suspension, how I still think Joe would have won, but like how much did it like really tamper on his like chances of getting it? Wonder.
Uh, I think he would have been higher than fourth.
I I don't know because even Justin Fields and what's his name, Jalen Hurts, they both had pretty good years, and
But those 2 games can make a big difference in that stat book, man.
that's true. That's true. But
Speaking of, I liked how you talked about Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts, but I want to go back to Joe Burrow for a second because, as we said, he had 841 first place votes. He also had 41 second place and 3 third place. That means about 50 people didn't have Joe Burrow in their top 3. How the hell did you not have Joe Burrow in your top 3 of your Heisman voting?
I don't know who they could have chose over him. I mean,
What 3 players in the country were better than Joe Burrow? Like you can't put Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields over him because he was the best quarterback in the goddamn college football this year.
I don't know.
Was he not? Was he not?
I don't know who they could have chose over him, but they obviously had a different opinion than
Yeah.
everybody
So
else.
you salty haters out there that just want to hate on excellence, you go fucking fuck yourself.
Oh, since you're going deep into the stats with everything, you want to talk about Trevor Lawrence?
Oh yeah, what Clemson stands out there gave Trevor Lawrence first place votes in this year's Heisman race? Come on.
Trevor
Okay, he
Lawrence
was
has had a
great last year.
terrible year.
I mean, he's picked it up over
He's
recent
been
weeks.
he's had a great year, but it's also like bad for him, considering.
Exactly. His stats are very close to last year's stats, but he only got these stats after he picked it up in the weak ACC conference play. If you want me to be
Yeah,
totally
he's playing in
honest.
the weak ACC, and he's getting these numbers. It's really not that good.
He should be doing way better. He needed to make an improvement. He didn't make an improvement this year, and that is why he should not be even talked about because he did exactly what he did last year. And Joe Burrow flat out just took what Trevor Lawrence did last year and multiplied that by 2 or 3 times and just took off. Trevor Lawrence needed to show improvement. He didn't. He picked it up at the end of the season. I will not say he didn't. He was still a very good quarterback, but he should not have gotten first place votes this year. He did not deserve them. So please don't vote for your favorite team's player. Just vote for the best player in college football, or else you don't deserve a damn vote.
True. It would have been dope though if Jalen Hurts would have won it. That would have been dope.
Why? Oh,
'Cause-
for Oklahoma?
well, just because it would have been 3 in a row for Oklahoma, but uh, like him transferring after
Oh
like
yeah,
not getting picked over Tua. Tua gets hurt, and then he goes to a new team, wins the Heisman. That'd be dope.
that'd be funny. If Tua did not get hurt, do you think he would
No,
have been higher
no,
voting?
no,
I didn't say he was going to win. Do you think he would have been higher
no,
in voting? He ended in 10th. He
no.
ended up getting one first place vote.
I don't think he would
Whoever
have
gave him
gotten
the first
invited.
place vote. Come on, man. He didn't play for 3 or 4 final games of his season. Do not give him a first place vote. He
I
didn't
don't think
play
he
the
would have
full.
gotten invited.
No, I don't think he would have either. I think he should have been top 7. I think
He
should
he
have.
wasn't having a great year even when he was playing.
He
You
was
could,
doing pretty good
eh,
until about the LSU game. I guess is when he got them knee problems is when he started like yikes.
yeah, but I just don't think even with the talent this year he would have got invited though.
Yeah. All right. I feel you. I feel you. I think that about wraps up this Heisman talk.
Wait, who won? Oh wait, no, Murray won it last year, right?
Yep, Kyler Murray, and the year before
Yeah,
that was that Baker, right? Baker,
yeah.
my man Baker Mayfield. You're disappointing me in the NFL. Please pick it up next year. You're making Odell want to leave. Please, I want to root for the Browns.
All
I
right,
do. I really do.
let's move on to college basketball.
Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Kentucky loses for the second time this year to Utah. Um, I'm not really sure how Utah's basketball team is, but I know they're not supposed to be better than Kentucky's.
Yeah, Kentucky lost at home, didn't they?
Again, yeah, they lost at home again. Kentucky, you're trying to say Rupp Arena is the hardest place to play in the country. You've lost 2 times this year now. Once to Utah and once to Evansville. Pick your shit up.
Both of them are unranked, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, Utah's 9-2. It sounds like a pretty good, decent team. You can't underestimate them, but again, it's Utah. You're Kentucky. You're playing at home in Rupp Arena. You have some of the top recruiting classes every single year. You're expected to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. Well, here, I'm gonna look at the
Um,
stats and see
oh,
what
let me
Utah
give you
shot
this.
for. Maybe.
Kentucky was favored by 10 points in this game.
Really?
You want to hear another thing? They only had 29% of their total attendance. Their capacity is about 19,000 people. Only 5,500 showed up for this game. It shows you how much they thought Kentucky had this in the bag.
Yeah. I mean, here, let's. Well, what I've noticed is the teams that are winning against these top-ranked teams are always shooting 50% from the field.
They also shot 53% from the three, which is great. And Kentucky only shot 11%, and that's not good. They were 2 for 17 from three. You got to make more than two threes,
Oh yeah,
especially when
yeah.
you're
They
back
if
at the
they
game.
make half of the threes they shot.
They
Well,
didn't
yeah.
even
Well,
make
that's
half.
fifty
Make a
percent. Yeah.
third.
If
Make
they
a
yeah
third.
make a third or a fourth, they
They
win the
lost by
game.
three. They
Yeah.
lost by three.
11%. That's terrible. 2 for 17. Like imagine if they would have just stopped shooting threes and just drove, they would have won.
They probably would have dominated the paint because they have some pretty good big men, if you ask me.
But yeah, I've noticed that from a lot of teams that are losing, that are ranked, that all these teams are just putting up shots and just draining them. 50% from the
You
field
just
is
gotta
hard to
you.
defend.
I don't know if it was bad defense. I don't know if it was a great night. Most of the time, it's a great night from the team that pulls off the upset. They just can't miss. And unfortunately for Kentucky, that was Utah tonight, and Kentucky just wasn't on their A
Well,
game.
I'm seeing this. Kentucky had 14 offensive rebounds, and Utah only had 4.
Well, yeah, I told you Kentucky would dominate the boards. It tells me they should have went inside more.
But they didn't dominate when they were on defense, because Kentucky only has 17 and Utah has 27
I
rebounds
mean,
defensively. So
I guess. But if they only had four offensive rebounds, they couldn't be getting too many. That means they were just making shots. If you want to be honest, they were making shots that need those offensive rebounds.
they had
The fifth,
7 steals. Also, Kentucky had 7 steals. They had less turnovers. Like
so they
what?
really just weren't making shots.
Yeah, I mean,
They weren't
and they
capitalizing on
didn't
mistakes,
shoot
and they weren't making
too
shots.
bad. They shot 40%. That's not terrible too.
Yeah, like we said, when these upsets happen, it's usually because a team just doesn't miss.
And yeah, that's what they did. So
So should Kentucky be too worried after this game? No.
no, but it's also like you've second time you've lost to an unranked team. You gotta fucking focus up. You know?
Ah, I see why the attendance was so down because it wasn't a home game for either team. It was a neutral court game in Las Vegas.
Hmm.
Apparently, Kentucky didn't like playing in Vegas.
Yeah, they must have not, because they got well, I mean, their shot was still honest. I mean,
It just didn't happen, man. It just didn't.
all right, let's move on to the Maryland loss versus Seton Hall.
Yeah, Maryland's supposed to be one of the best offensive teams in the country, and they scored 48 points in this game.
Yeah, Seton Hall's unranked. You said they
Well,
had
they're
two of
only
the.
unranked because their best players are hurt.
Yeah, you said they lost this game with 2 of their best players hurt. Like
Yeah, you
Maryland,
can't do that.
seriously?
You can't do that.
This is Maryland's second loss. Who'd Maryland? They almost lost to Illinois, but
Yikes.
I don't know who their other
Oh,
losses against.
like yeah, I'll look in a second, but yeah, when Miles Powell was out for Seton Hall, who was considered Seton Hall's pretty much whole team, you can't lose. You can't lose, especially when you're supposed to be considered one of the best teams in the country. When you are playing a team without their best player, you need to beat them. And Maryland did not do that. It seems like some of these games, Maryland just isn't focused,
Oh, whoa.
and they let the other team take advantage of them.
Maryland's lost 2 straight.
That's
They
what I thought.
they lost to Penn State, and now they've lost to Seton Hall, 2 unranked.
Penn State is a pretty good Big Ten team.
They're dropping far.
I don't think they dropped far, but I think they dropped top 15 maybe.
Yeah, I mean they're 7th right now. They're gonna drop a good amount.
Yeah, only scoring 48 against a very injured Seton Hall. That's not good.
And Seton
It's
Hall,
not
they shot 37%, which is
good.
like
No, yeah, this was not.
it
A good
doesn't help
offensive
that
game at
your
all.
top 2 players are out, but if you think if your top 2 players are out and you're shooting almost 40%, that's still pretty good if you're without your top two
Like
players.
this is Seton Hall. Their top player is considered one of the best players in the country. So like when you lose a player like that, it's a big hit, and they they have, and when that happens, you have to rely on your defense. And obviously, it worked. If Maryland only scored 48 points and you won only scoring 52, because in college basketball, it's not very much. That's not much.
And like looking at these stats, Maryland leads in every single stat.
Seton Hall, 15 blocks,
Yeah,
10 steals,
that means that Maryland really couldn't get in the paint.
and Maryland had 17 turnovers.
Yeah, but
So
if you
Seton
see
Hall's
Maryland's winning in the rebounds too, which I don't know, that don't really make
Seton
sense.
Hall's defense was just on fire. Apparently, 15 blocks.
That's crazy. That's a lot.
That
That's
is a lot of blocks, dude.
Jeez, that's like almost half the times you're going down, you're gonna get blocked almost.
Like that's a really good defense, and that's obviously why Seton Hall pulled this out because they weren't going to win offensively. They had to win defensively. That's what they did. Very impressive. Maryland needs to pick it up here very soon. It seems like they're playing very underwhelming basketball these last few weeks, and they don't want to. If they don't want to drop here a lot, they're going to have to pick it up because Big Ten play is just around the corner, and the Big Ten is no joke this year.
Yeah, they got Ohio State coming up. Probably still 2 weeks from now, but
That's a huge game as well.
yeah.
Sticking with the losing teams, the North Carolina Tar Heels dropped out of the rankings this week. That is a very, very surprising after being ranked, I think, 5 or 7 to begin the year.
I mean, well, when you have players being injured, you can't really do much.
Yeah, but when you lose to Wofford, I don't think that's an excuse. Even without your best player, you should be able to beat Wofford
Yeah, but
at home.
I don't know.
Wofford
Maybe
at
it puts a
home.
whole like just losing players, losing your best players, and then losing games in general. It just doesn't put a good feel on the team. I don't know.
It brings this negative vibe. I get it, but come on, you guys got to show up against Wofford. They're 7-4. It's not even like it's like the good Wofford from the last year or two that made it to the tournament, almost upset Kentucky. This team's 7-4, man. Like they're nothing special. It's
Yeah, I
just a
just don't think.
small mid major.
Well, now, do you think that they're gonna make the tourney?
I think that has a lot of discussion. They have 5 losses. 4 of them are to top 10 teams, which is very good for them. On their, it's not good necessarily for resume, but it's a lot better than other people losing to bad teams when you have 4 of your losses to top 10 teams. But you need to start getting those wins as well to boost up your resume to get into the tournament. And right now they don't have those wins. They have one against Oregon, who's been playing very impressive lately, but they need to start racking up some more. And hopefully they have a bit of an easier stretch coming up in this next month and a half. So hopefully, as their top guard Cole Anthony recovers, they can win these easier games and they can make it back to the harder part of conference play with him at full strength, and they can start getting those big wins that they need.
Well, what is what's North Carolina's overall rank? Like their overall standing, like their record.
They are 6-5. They are on a 4-game losing streak right now. They just lost to Gonzaga last Wednesday night by 13, but it never looked like they ever had a chance. Gonzaga was dominating that whole game.
Yeah, if they're gonna go, if they go below, I don't know how many more losses they can really afford. You know?
Let me see their upcoming schedule. They play UCLA Saturday. UCLA is not the best that they used to be. They got Yale, Georgia Tech, Pittsburgh, Clemson, Pittsburgh again. Like it's not a very tough schedule. It's very winnable games that they need to win though. They can't let up. They can't let any of these teams upset them because if they allow 1 or 2 upsets in these coming weeks, it might really hurt them and they could really cause them to miss out on a tourney this year.
Yeah. I mean they're struggling for sure. I don't know how many more games they can really lose before they're really like borderline. Don't know if they're gonna make it or not.
Right now, I think fans are panicking, and there's no need to. But if they start losing a couple more in the coming weeks, then yes, they should really start to panic. To really top it off with how bad they've been playing, the Gonzaga student section was chanting, "We want Wofford," during the game, they also chanted NIT.
Ooh.
Yeah. They really it shows how much this like is going around the country, how North Carolina struggles, and the many people questioning will they make the tournament this year. I think it's too early to really figure that out. I think we need to wait for a couple more weeks to really say they're in the real big trouble. But they do need to start figuring something out because offensively this team is lost without their top guard, and it really shows.
All right. Well, let's move on from losing teams to big games. Uh, Kansas Villanova.
Yeah, Kansas back up to number one in the rankings. I don't know if you like that because number one teams this year are not doing too hot, but they're playing a Villanova team that seems to still be trying to figure themselves out. They're ranked 18th after a little higher ranking starting off the
But
season.
according to predictions, Kansas is gonna lose, like big time.
Really,
62% think Villanova is gonna win.
I I don't understand why they believe this. Villanova is filled with a bunch of young players that aren't really experienced and haven't played too many of these big games yet. Um, I get the confidence maybe because the number one teams haven't been playing too well, and this year has just been crazy. Also, Villanova is home, but how much of a difference does that really make?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
I mean, it's a number 18 team. You got to think about it. 8-2 also. But yeah, there's a curse with being number one this season for sure. I don't know why. Being number one, you're bound to lose. That's for sure.
obviously Kansas hasn't lost since their first game of the season, but I don't think they've really played any competition since then like that of Villanova.
Yeah, yeah, they haven't.
Villanova's two losses, Baylor and Ohio State, not bad teams. Ohio State's a really good team. They got slaughtered by Ohio State though. The Baylor game was a lot closer. I feel like with the more and more weeks of experience, this young team has gotten better, but I don't know if they're at the level yet of beating a number one team like Kansas.
I mean, there's a chance they're home. Kansas is on the road. Early game. Who knows?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that this game is close, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas wins by about 10, 15 points. I just don't know
Yeah,
if Villanova's ready for it yet.
but there is always a possibility because number one has that thing
Yeah,
this
it's just
year.
been a weird year in college basketball.
All right, let's move on to Ohio State and Kentucky.
Yeah, this is a big game. I am looking very forward to this game. Um, Obviously, Kentucky coming off that loss will win a bounce back game against a team like Ohio State, and Ohio State just
They
suffered their first loss not too long ago.
Yeah, they had a game. They lost to Minnesota, then they just got had like a quick easy team, and then now they have this game. So maybe they had time to bounce back from that loss and focus more on what they need to do better. Maybe that
Yeah, I'm
helps them
very
out a little
excited.
bit
This
here.
is a neutral court game too, as well. Neither one of these teams are home. This game is in Vegas.
But Ohio State is favored, like
I would
70,
favor
70
them
to
too.
30.
Ohio State has been a very impressive team this year. I've been more impressed with them this year than I've been impressed by Kentucky. I feel like Ohio State has some more um, experience within their team. Kentucky has a lot of freshmen, sophomores playing, and that could hurt them. As well as I think Ohio State plays better as because of that experience, because they have more experience together as a team, which really helps on the offense and defensive side of things. Kentucky is still trying to figure things out, as you can see, as they lost to Utah just earlier. But Ohio State, the Minnesota loss was very surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I
This came
didn't
out of nowhere.
expect it,
There's
but they were
they're
projected to
beating
be number one. So
exactly. They were going to probably be the number one team if they didn't lose, and they did. Now they're stuck at three, but no, they're stuck at five now, right? They went down.
yeah, they're at five now.
Yeah, and I don't really know why they lost that game. It looks like they got out rebounded, which that could be scary because they got out rebounded by Minnesota, and Kentucky is a very good rebounding team.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that if Kentucky was a rebounding team
Yes,
because
they are very good in the paint.
yeah, that's where Ohio State seems to struggle if anything because they're definitely a shooting team. They're guard heavy. They run three guards, so they do suffer in the rebounding game. They only really have Wesson down there if they want to get rebounds. So
Yeah, Weston's going to need to have a huge game.
yeah, there's a chance Kentucky still has a the opportunity to win for sure because of that rebound
Well, I
opportunity.
think this game will be close. I think this game comes down to the final couple possessions.
Yeah, it's a 5-10 point game, I think. But
Who do you believe
um,
pulls it out?
uh, I gotta go with the Ohio State. You gotta go with Ohio State.
I believe Ohio State will win this. I think they're the better team so far this year. I don't see Kentucky coming back. They will want to bounce back. When will they get it? I don't believe so. I think Kentucky loses two in a row, and Ohio State keeps beating the great teams in this country like they have been all year.
You think if Ohio, do you think Ohio State bumps up? How far do you think if either team wins here? How far do you think they get bumped up?
If Ohio State wins, I think they probably go up to 3 or 4. Kentucky wins, I think they probably stay around the 6 after they just lost to Utah. If you want me to be honest with you,
Really? You don't think they bump
yeah.
up higher than that?
No, I can't give them a higher ranking after losing to Utah. Yeah, Ohio State's impressive, but you lost to Utah also in the same week. I can't bump you up. That's just how I see it.
I don't know. I
They just
mean, yeah, Gonzaga. You can't. You really don't think they'd go to 3 over Louis?
why did Louisville do anything this week that could make them suffer? 'Cause I don't think they
No,
did.
but they'd have a higher resume than Louisville.
I know, but they didn't do anything to lose it, and Kentucky lost to Utah. And honestly, I don't believe Kentucky deserves to go up any higher. I think they could take Ohio State's spot at 5, but maybe that's it.
I think if Ohio State wins, they go up to 3. I think if Kentucky wins, they only go to 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing it as. That's all I can give them.
But all right, I think that's enough with college basketball. I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. Yeah, I think.
Not really. No, I think we should just move on to the NFL.
All right, let's start off with some of our. You wanna start off with the predictions?
Let's just start off with the predictions of smaller games that nobody really gives a shit about, and then we can talk about some bigger games.
All right, so let's start off with Texans and Buccaneers. I think I gotta have the Texans for this one.
I think it's pretty simple. Texans, they're pretty inconsistent this year, but they're coming off a big win in the division against the Titans. Huge win for them, huge win for their playoffs. And the Buccaneers are just a very inconsistent team. They're 7-7, shows their inconsistency. They win some, they lose some, but they just don't have that it factor in them. They just don't. They're not impressive. They're nothing special. And Houston is a good team when they want to be, and I just feel like Houston pulls it off in pretty easy fashion.
Yeah, I believe so too. Rams 49ers. I think
What you
49
got there?
I think 49ers have to get out of this losing streak. They need to just get it. They need to get in their playoff berth because they haven't gotten it yet, right?
They have they'll make I think they'll make a wild card, but they don't have this division locked. The loss against the Falcons really hurt them last week because it's the Falcons, and now the Seahawks are back on top of record wise, and they have the tiebreaker because they beat the 49ers. But yeah, I really think it's a big game for the 49ers because once again, it's a division game, and they need to stay within a game of the Seahawks.
Very true. Yeah, and plus they just been in this drought. They need to get out of.
Yeah, they've lost 2 of their last 3 games. Somehow they lost to the Falcons but beat the Saints. I'm not understanding that, but yeah, I guess after that big win, they just thought they were kind of walk into Atlanta and take it easily, and Atlanta said no, no, no.
So speaking of the Falcons versus Jaguars.
Hold on, man.
Oh,
49ers or Rams? Give me your
I
prediction.
already said 49ers.
You told me that they need a bounce back. You didn't tell me that they'd win. The Rams, man, they've been pretty. They were having a streak, and then they just ran into this Cowboys unit that came out of nowhere. And well, I feel like that just put a damper on the Rams' playoffs hopes, and it's pretty much over for them now.
Yeah, I feel like the
And
49ers need this. They need to bounce back, and if any game, it's this game with the Rams
yeah,
getting blown out by the Cowboys.
49ers easily.
Yeah, 49ers definitely need to. They should win the game, and if they don't, then.
It's
Ooh.
not good for them.
But all right, Falcons Jaguars. You have to have the Falcons in this one. Over that,
Yeah, especially after that weigh in last week.
yeah, you win off of what was it like your last drive. You just drive down. At first, they didn't get the call that it was good, and then they reviewed it and he got in. That's
To
you got
knock off the 49ers.
yeah, you gotta have some momentum going into practice this week, and You gotta be feeling yourself for this game.
Yeah, the Falcons are one of the best 5-9 teams I've ever seen. Okay, let me put that there. They've been really inconsistent this year. They started off the season horribly, which is why they're in such a bad spot. If they would have played beginning of the season like they have this last few weeks, they'd probably be in contention for a wild card spot. However, it didn't happen that way. They played like shit all year until now. But the Falcons are finally starting to do something, and I think they kill the Jaguars this week.
Yeah, I believe so too. I think the Falcons are one of the better 5-9 teams. Even one of the lower ranking teams, they're probably one of the best. Uh, and I think they're going to end the season strong too. They've just been playing real well. But yeah, I got the Falcons. Ravens Browns. I
Uh,
I think the Ravens need to finally fucking lose a
Unbelievable.
game here, and I think the Browns are the team to let that happen. That's my
Well, I can't
this
agree
is
with
my
you.
upset. I feel like this is gonna happen.
They're
I,
once again a dumpster fire. Oh, Baker's playing terrible. They're 6-8. Odell wants out. Landry wants out. It just seems like nobody wants to be here anymore. It was one bad season after all those expectations, and they're just cog rolling downhill. I just don't see how the Browns turn it around against one of the best teams in the NFL. I'm sorry. I wish I could. I love Baker Mayfield. I wanted to root for the Browns this year. I really did, but they really is underperformed. They're very underwhelming, and I feel like the Ravens take this one.
no, I think Baker Mayfield has one of his little spectaculars and just fucking pulls off it. That's Mayfield in a fucking sentence right there. He just out of nowhere has a spurt
Okay.
and fucking just blows everybody out of the way. I think he does that in this game. I think the Ravens get fucking bumped down a notch.
Ah, I can't agree with you, but we'll see.
Saints Titans. Can't really not pick the Saints because Drew Brees has been on a fucking. He's been on something, you know. He's been playing crazy. I mean, you can even see the clips. He's after practice. He's 40 minutes just sitting there taking practice snaps. Like, dude's having a great year.
You keep cutting out.
I'm cutting out. Oh, well,
Like
I.
I haven't heard you talk since like after Baker Mayfield.
Oh, well, I was saying how Drew Brees has basically been on one this season.
Oh yeah. He's always a great quarterback, man. He just broke Peyton Manning's all-time touchdown record. Sorry, I'm a Peyton Manning fan. I was very sad about that, but it's also a great accomplishment. Congratulations, Drew Brees. You've been a great quarterback your whole career. You're undoubtedly a Hall of Famer. And yeah, the Saints have been really turning on these last few weeks. They've been becoming a very dangerous team, like everybody thought they would be at the beginning of the season. And I think the Saints go into Tennessee, take this game, and they get themselves one step closer to a top two seed in the NFC playoffs.
Yeah, like I was saying, Drew Brees has just been taking practice snaps 40 minutes after practice. He's focused this season, and I don't think anybody's going to be stopping him for a while.
Oh yeah,
So,
after these last few disappointing endings to their season, there's nothing more Drew Brees wants than a Super Bowl.
yeah, I got the Saints as well. Colts, Panthers. Mm,
Um, I don't really know. Both of these teams are kind of iffy week to week. Panthers one week they'll show up and be a great team. Another week they'll show up and lose to one of the worst teams in the league. Same with the Colts. You don't really know what you're gonna get. I'm just giving it to Indy because they're home.
I'm giving it to Indy because Cam's still not back. I don't
He's
see.
never coming back. He's never playing with Panthers ever again.
I don't see the Panthers winning. They don't have fucking Cam back, so I got the Colts, especially since they're at home. Dolphins and Bengals.
Woo, game of the week.
Bengals definitely haven't been on anything good this season. Dolphins are at home. I gotta go with the Dolphins.
The line's even. They don't really have anybody expected to win this game. I don't really know who's going to win this game. The Bengals are kind of impressive versus the Patriots last week for the first quarter and a half. And then Andy Dalton played like Andy Dalton, and he threw a bajillion interceptions. The Dolphins, I don't really know who's impressive on that team. There's not much there. They're 3-11. Bengals are 1-13. I hope the Bengals lose on purpose to keep their number one draft place in lock. So I'm going to go with Dolphins.
Steelers Jets.
Ah, yeah, Steelers. They pretty much are in a race with the Titans for that final wild card spot, and they have destiny in their hands. If they win out, they're the wild card team.
Well, they got a good
So
team that they have a perfect team for them to just get an easy win on because the Jets have been on and off. So
and they've been mostly off rather than on. And I don't see the Jets winning this game. They're not a good team. Maybe they can find something to put together, but recently they have not been putting it together. And I'm gonna go with the Steelers.
I mean, if the Jets can put it together, though, they're definitely gonna win. But
I don't know if they'll win.
I don't know when they've been on, they've been on. That's for sure. Like they've gotten some
Yeah,
pretty good
but
wins,
most of their on games are against some pretty bad teams.
but I just don't see it happening against the Steelers. I think the Steelers know what they need to do to beat the to win their wild card, and yeah, I see the Steelers winning that. Probably the game of the week: Giants versus Redskins.
Oh, another game of the week. Oh shit, you're right. This is big draft pick situation. They're both 3-11, so the winner of this game is going to kind of ruin their own draft pick spot. They are going to give the other team a higher pick. Um,
This is for the last in the division for them too.
oh man, Giants, Eli Manning, you look awful. You are showing everybody why you got benched. And that's why I'm going to give the Redskins this win because they're first of all they're home, second of all they're playing Eli Manning and he is dog shit.
I think Saquon's gonna carry the team. Giants are gonna get a win. Uh, Even though Eli's been playing like complete fucking dog shit, I still think Giants somehow pull it out because the Redskins have just been completely ass. All right, so next we have the Lions and the Broncos. I gotta say that I feel like if what's the Lions QBs they have though?
I think it's like David Bluff, something like that.
I mean, if he performs how he did in the Bears game, I feel like they have a chance, but he's been playing
Um,
pretty fucking shitty.
yeah,
So
that game was on Thanksgiving. It's been like 3 weeks, bud.
yeah, I mean he's been playing pretty shitty, but if he fucking performs, Lions don't look too bad.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, I don't see him performing. Denver, coming off a very bad loss against Kansas City, they always play bad against Kansas City recently. I think Drew Lock has found something with this offense. I think Denver's offense rolls through the Lions, and they take this in Denver.
All right, Raiders and Chargers.
A game that nobody really gives a shit about, huh?
I'm gonna give it for the Chargers just because the Raiders lost their final game at home, and I don't see them being too happy. I don't see them playing too well. I got the Chargers at home for once this season. I actually think they're gonna play decent.
Yeah, it's just a game that no one really gives a shit about. It's really a toss-up. Both teams aren't playing their best football this year. But yeah, I'm gonna go with you. Raiders, disappointing these last few weeks. Chargers, I guess you can turn it on a little bit against the Raiders. They're home. It's not really a home game, but yeah, Chargers.
Cardinals, Seahawks. I think we probably both have the Seahawks in this one.
Yeah, Seahawks. I don't even think it needs discussing. The Seahawks have been dominant these last few weeks. Cardinals, eh.
Chiefs, Bears. Don't really think we're gonna pick the Bears in this one either.
Yeah,
I'd say.
after a disappointing loss last week, no chance of making the playoffs. I don't think the Bears are very motivated this week.
Yeah, I don't think any team would really be too motivated if they have no chance of making the playoffs. All right, let's start talking about the more important games. Bills, Patriots. Patriots are at home.
Yeah, Patriots been pretty iffy these last few weeks. But not too bad against the Bengals last week. They did start off pretty slow though. They did turn it on, but against the better teams, the Patriots have been struggling. They do have a win against the Bills way earlier in the season. It was a couple weeks in. The Bills have been a really good team, surprising this year.
They just need to score. If the Bills can
Exactly.
score, they can win. They haven't been
Josh
scoring.
Allen is the key in this game. Can he play well?
Also, Brady could play well. Brady hasn't been playing too well either.
He hasn't played well all year.
So if Brady can perform too, the Patriots have a chance. But also, what you said, if the Bills just need to be fucking scoring, or I don't see them winning this, especially when they're on the road.
Oh yeah, and Foxborough is a very tough place to play. It's a huge game. obviously, because Patriots are still fighting for that one of those first round buys in the playoffs, and the Bills are trying to catch up to the Patriots in the division race. But I don't know if they can do it. But also, again, Patriots struggle. Bills trying to prove that they deserve and belong. This is my upset of the week. I have the Bills taking the Patriots. Patriots playing bad football. The Bills, I think, squeak it out.
All right. Um, let's move on to Cowboys and Eagles.
Ooh, this is for the division,
This is
boys.
for the division. Cowboys are starting to been turning it on. Eagles, they fix it up a little bit
I
through
don't
the
know if
middle
you
of
can
the
say the
season.
Cowboys have been turning it on because they won one damn game.
I don't know. Jerry Jones is pretty excited after that game.
Jerry Jones is excited about anything, apparently, because he still has Jason Garrett as his goddamn head coach.
He hasn't signed the contract yet, so
I'm talking about for all these last few years. Should have been fired years ago, but he says something excites him about him. I don't know what it is. But yeah, they won one game against a very iffy Rams team this year. I don't know if you could say that's turning it on, maybe. But I have to agree with you. The Eagles, like, what the hell, man? You guys struggled against the Redskins. It came down to the final minutes. You haven't played well all season, and somehow you still find yourself a chance to take this division because it's so bad.
yeah. If you're having close games with the Giants and the Redskins, you better get ready because Dallas's offense was pretty on last game, and if your defense lets those guys score and makes the games that close, I can't imagine what Dallas would do to you. They'd run all over you.
I think this game is closer than some people may expect, but I do have the Cowboys pulling this one off just because I don't think the Eagles are a good team.
I had the Cowboys by 3 or 7 in this one. I think I think it'll come down to the fourth quarter. You'll really see which team's going to shine out in the first probably 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. You know, but I think it does come down to one possession game for sure. And last game, Packers Vikings.
This is another huge game with division implications. I think the Vikings are about what, one game back behind the Packers in the division race?
Yeah, this would tie them up. Actually, wouldn't this put the Vikings in the lead? Because they would
I
get.
don't know about that one. It'd be because they've both played each other, and I believe the Packers won the first time. Um, I don't really know how that tiebreaker would work. Actually,
Uh,
I do know how the tiebreaker would work. The Packers would still be above them because their division record is better than the Vikings, even if the Vikings were to win.
yeah, Packers did win the first time. So
And the Packers are 4-0 in the division. Vikings are 2-2. If they win, there's 3-2, making them still below the Packers. But it would even it out to where if the Packers screw up in the final week, the Vikings win, they take it over them. But then also, the Vikings are still fighting for the final playoff spot, even though they have it pretty much in lock right now. They need to win
they
to
still need to
secure it.
finish the season strong in order to guarantee it.
Who you
But
got in this game?
oh, I gotta say, Vikings at home. Honestly, Vikings at home.
I'm going with you on that one. I think the Packers are the flukiest three-loss team this year. I don't think they're good as some people would think they are. I think the Vikings can pull this off. I think the Vikings are about just as good as the Packers. I don't think the Pack, like I said, I don't think the Packers are that good. I think the Vikings will do it. They're home and they pull it off.
I hope Minnesota pulls it off because it brings a little bit more excitement into that. Just with brings a little puts a little pressure on the Packers for their final game. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
just a blow by game. But all right, upset of the week. You said yours was the Bills over the Patriots though.
Yes, I don't believe Josh Allen has a great game. I think he has an okay game, and that's all you need to beat the Patriots in their offense right now because their offense is pretty bad. Tom Brady hasn't found it. They don't really have any weapons. So you don't really need to score much as long as that Bills defense does its thing. I think it's probably a 3 point, maybe 7 point game, like you said for that Cowboys Eagles game. It's probably a super low scoring, maybe 17-10 or 20-13, something like that.
All right, and then my upset of the week's gonna be the Browns or the Ravens. I just feel like Baker Mayfield's gonna have that spurt that he has randomly, and
It's
I
a
feel
real
like the
ballsy
Ravens
pick.
they've just been on one for too long. They need to be knocked down. So I just feel like the Baker Mayfield's the guy to do it.
It's a ballsy pick. I'll give you that.
It's ballsy. Don't know if it'll work out in my favor, but If it does work out in my favor, I look like a fucking genius.
And if it doesn't, you look like an idiot, like
Yeah,
you have for the
I look like
past
an
fucking
idiot.
10 minutes. You've said it.
But I think this has been our shortest podcast that we've had, especially for
Yeah.
sports, even.
That
Uh,
wraps up the pretty much sports week. Besides one thing, I just need to do a little bragging, everybody. Um, if you didn't know already, I'm a Yankees fan, and if you haven't heard, and I'm sure you have because it's huge news. I mean, come on, it's huge. But if you somehow haven't heard, the Yankees signed one of the best, if not the best pitcher in the MLB, Garrett Cole, 9 years, $324 million. They just made it official on Wednesday. He's wearing the pinstripes. He's wearing number 45. He's coming to the Bronx. You might as well put this season in wraps already. We already got it coming. The Yankees dominant already. They got one of the best bullpens in the game. Now they got one of the best starting rotations. They already have some of the best power hitters, best fielders. Come on, just give us the title. Give us the title.
Alright, now that you had your MLB rant, you feel pretty good now?
Oh yeah, Yanks. Yeah, go Yanks.
Alright. It's been our shortest podcast. Colton's not here. Hopefully, he'll be back for the next one. I don't know when we're going to be recording our next one.
Yeah,
But,
we'll have to discuss that with the boy that doesn't want to show up.
so hopefully Colton feels better. Maybe he might be back for the next one, but
Hey Colton, if you're watching, how about you leave a comment in the
in
comment
the
section,
comment
and
section.
yeah, and tell us how you think we did without you, because I think we did pretty fucking well.
But if you guys did like this without Colton, I mean, hey, leave a comment or a like, and maybe we might have to do the sports ones without Colton. Who
No,
knows?
we're just fucking around. Don't give me always Colton. But staying on the likes, like this video.
And if you aren't subbed, guys, what are you doing? Just subscribe. It makes it easier for you. It leaves it right in your subscription box so you don't have to go and look for the video. But I think we're going on a rant here. I think we should just end it right here.
I mean, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew about all our stuff.
That's true, that's true. But just make sure you guys like the video, and if you aren't subbed, and see you guys in the next podcast. Yeah, peace.